note that this assignment sign in the statement, for example, user age equals 19, has a different meaning from the sign we learned in math. So in programming, this assignment sign is known as an assignment sign. Actually, in the program is equal sign. So it means we are assigning the value on the right side of the sign. This is the value that we are assigning to this variable in the left side. A good way to understand the statement user age equals 19 is to think of the user age this, right? So this statement, A equals B and B equals A, has a very different meanings in programming. Confused? An example will clear this up. So let's type this following here. X equals, or A equals 5, B equals 10, and A equals B here, right? So now we will print this here, print our A equals to A, and print again our B equals to B, right? And now let's run the program. And as you can see here, A equals to 10, B equals to 10. So now, although A has an initial value of 5, you can see here, declared on the first line, and the third line, A equals B, assigns the value of the B to A here. So we are assigning, with this code, we are assigning a value of B to A, and now we are assigning, in the first line we are assigning 5 to A, and after that we are assigning 10 to B. So here are A equals to 5, and now B, we don't have B here, so we don't have B here, and here A equals to 5, B equals to 10, and here our A equals to 10 and B equals to 10 here. And next we can modify this by changing only one statement. So let's change the third line from A equals B to B equals A. Now let's run this program again, and as you can see, we have A equals 5 and B equals 5. And here mathematically, the A equals B and B equals A mean the same thing. However, this is not so in programming. And now let's run this program again, and as you can see, we got this A equals 5, B equals 5. So you can see that in this example, the A value remains as 5, but the value of B is changed to 5 from 10. So this is because the statement is in the third line, B equals A, assigns the value of A to B, and B becomes 5 while A remains unchanged as 5. In programming, a white space refers to any non-printing characters, such as spaces, tabs, and end-of-line symbols. You can use white space to organize your output so it's easier for users to read. Now let's add a tab to your text. So you can use this character combination to add tab to your text. So now let's print here, this here. This is a Python tab, and after that we will add this character combination, or actually let's add this between this is M and Python tab. T here. Now let's run it. And as you can see here, we have a tab here. This is a tab. So to add a new line in a string, you can use the character combination of N here. And as you can see here, this is a new line. This is a new line, and after that we have another space character that we used here. So let's delete this and this. Here you are seeing the new line without any spaces here. But we can also do like this, for example, print programming languages and languages, and here we're gonna add the new line and Python, or we can also before programming languages, let's add character tab so it will look nice. So Python, C++, or yes, new line C++, new line Java, new line Swift. And here, as you can see here, we have a tab here, Python, C++, Java, and Swift with new lines here. So you can also combine the tabs and new lines in a single string, and the strings nt here, nt tells Python to move to a new line and start the next line with tab. Now we will do that here. Let's actually add two tabs here. You can add here. And as you can see here, there are programming languages, Python and C++ with two tabs here. This is the first tab and second tab, first tab and second tab. And here we have Java with only one tab and Swift with only one tab here. And as you can see, it's here, new line tab, and new line tab here, and new line tab. So new lines and tabs will be very useful in the next two sections when you start to produce many lines of output from just a few lines of code. In some situations, you will want to use a variable's value inside a string. For example, you might want to use two variables to represent a car's model and make, and respectively, and then combine those values to display some car's full model, right? So now we will make this car here, car make, and in this case, let's actually make it BMW, and now car model, and here we will make it 500, 5 series, and let's actually make the year, right? 2014. And now we will make it car here. We will make it F. This is the format. And car make. Oops, sorry. Firstly, car make. And after that, we will enter the car model. Car model, right? And as you can see, that's it. Now we will print this. Print car. Let's print this. And as you can see here, BMW 5 2014. And to insert the variable's value into string, place a letter F. Immediately before the opening quotation mark here. That's what we did here, right? We placed the letter F, and after that put the braces around the name or names of any variable you want to use inside a string, and Python will replace each variable within its value when its string is displayed. In this case, it's, as you can see, inside braces we have car model, we have space here, this is a space here, and that we also have space here. Oops, not here, here. And we also have car model, which is our car model was 5 Air 2014, and this is it, right? And these strings are called, so these strings here, these strings are called the F strings here. F strings. These strings are called F strings. So this F here means format. Format, because Python formats the strings by replacing the name of any variable in braces with its value. So the output of this code will be this here. You can change these variables and values as well here. So you can do a lot with F strings. For example, you can use F strings to compose complete message using information associated with a variable as like this. For example, we have a car, right? So we can also do this, right? So my message here, it's gonna be f typhoon drives a car, and that's it. Now let's and actually let's use this uppercase, and as you can see here, oops, instead we have to change the car, so to my message. And here typhoon drives a BMW 5R 2014. So that's a full name. This is the full message is used in a sentence that reads that sends the user that what typhoon drives, and we have the variables that use with the f strings. You can also use f strings to compose a message and then assign the entire message to variable, as we did here. And now we will here. Let's actually do another here, and here we have my message typhoon, here my bigger message here, and we will do again. So f here my message, firstly my message, and he crashed it, and here we will do print again my bigger message here. And as you can see, typhoon drives a BMW 5R 2014 and he crashed it. Extra white space can be confusing in your programs. To programmers, Python here, Python, and this Python here looks pretty much the same when you print it, right? But to a program, they are two different things. Python detects the extra space in this second Python here and considers it significant unless you tell it otherwise. So it's important to think about white spaces because often you will want to compare two strings to determine whether they are the same or not. For example, one important instance might involve checking people's usernames when they log into a website. Extra white space can be confusing in much simpler situations as well. Fortunately, Python makes it easy to eliminate extra white space from the data that people enter. So Python can look for extra white space on the right and left side of a string. To ensure that no white space exists at the right side of a string, you can use the rstrip method. So here, let's actually my best language or my best coding language here. So here we will have the Python here. So Python, but with white space here, as you can see. And secondly, we will use the my favorite, or let's actually print it firstly, my best coding language. And as you can see, it's Python here, and we have a one white space here, obviously. Now we will do my best coding language dot rstrip. That's it. And here we will print this my best coding language again, and here you will see nothing. As you can see here, they are the same. So in order to do that, here we will use with here. So this is just a temporary. We will use the permanent method as well, but for now we're gonna use temporary here, rstrip, and here we will do. That's it. And here, as you can see, we have no white spaces here. We have no white spaces here, but here we have one white space, right? This is the white space here. So with rstrip, we remove the extra white space on the right side of a string. The value associated with my best coding language contains extra white space at the end of the string, as you can see here. So when you ask Python for this value in terminal session, you can see the space at the end of the value. When the rstrip methods acts on the variable my best coding language, this extra space is removed. However, as I said, it is only removed temporarily. So after that, if we do like print the my best coding language again, it will still print us with the white space here. So this here, this is the third here, second here, oops, second here, and this is the first Python print here. So as I said, it's only removed temporarily here. This is with the white space again, as you can see here. So if you ask for the value of my best coding language again, the string looks the same as when it was entered, including the extra white space. To remove the white space from the string permanently, you have to associate the stripped value with the variable name. In order to do that, we're gonna do my best coding language equals my best coding language dot rstrip. Now we will see this here. As you can, this is the with white space and without white space. Let's print this more than one time to see here, and as you can see here, we will get the same result, of course. So this is the without the white space, with the white space, and all of these are without the white space. So that's it. To remove the white space from the string, you strip the white space from the right side of the string, and then associate this new value here, this new value with this here, because rstrip here we have, and we are associating this my best coding language with stripped version to normal version here. So in this example, we start with the. So let's actually use this, add this here, and you will see this. And as you can see, we all have the here. Now we're gonna do another example. So firstly, we will define this my best coding language with the two white spaces on the both sides. And after that, we want my best coding language dot rstrip, and here we will print it, of course. Firstly, print my best coding language dot rstrip, and here, as you can see here, we printed with the right strip here. So now we're gonna do as well as left strip, L strip. And here, as you can see in the first example, we have no right white space, but we have a left white space. But here we have no left space, but we have in a right side we have a white space. So in order to do that, we will firstly associate my best coding language that equals the my best coding language dot L strip here, and after that we will my best coding language dot rstrip, and after that we will print the value. So as you remember, this is a permanent solution here, and as you can see here, we have no right spaces or left spaces on the both sides. So when working with strings, another common task is to remove a prefix. Consider a URL with the common prefix of HTTPS. Here we want to remove this prefix so we can focus on just the part of the URL that the user needs to enter into an address bar. Here's how you do that. So Udemy URL here, Udemy URL, and here we will enter the Udemy URL here, HTTPS and udemy.com, and here they will use the Udemy URL dot remove prefix, and here we will enter HTTPS here. Now we will print the Udemy URL, or actually let's print this here, print here, and here let's see, as you can see here, we removed the HTTPS from the Udemy. So enter the name of the variable followed by a dot here, and then the method is remove prefix. Inside the parentheses, you enter the prefix you want to remove from the original string, like we did here. So like the methods from the removing white space, remove prefix leaves the original string unchanged. So if you want to keep the new value with the previous prefix removed, either assign it to the original variable or assign it to a new variable. So now we will use this. So Udemy URL without prefix, and here we will enter this Udemy URL dot remove prefix and HTTPS here, and here we will enter the print and Udemy URL without prefix here. and as you can see, we removed Udemy URL that had HTTPS prefix before it, and we printed it, so we have that variable permanently. But whenever we try to print this Udemy URL, it will show us the same because we didn't change this Udemy URL. We created new variable here. This is the new variable, and we took that. So we remove the prefix. So this has the udemy.com, but in the first variable we have the https udemy.com. So these are two separate variables. Don't confuse here. These are two separate variables. They don't have the associations. And only association this variable has is that it only took this from the variable. So, but they are separate variables and they are can be manipulated separately. One kind of error that you might see with some regularity is syntax error. A syntax error occurs when Python doesn't recognize a section of your program as a valid Python code. For example, if you use an apostrophe within a single quote, you will produce an error. This happens because Python interprets everything between the first single quote as the apostrophe and the apostrophe as a string. It then tries to interpret the rest of the text as Python code, which causes error. So here's how a single use of double quotes correctly. Now we will use, for example, my special message, and here we will use this is the fastest and best Python course in the world. So this is the fastest in, or actually let's make the Pythons here. Yes, it might sound grammatically incorrect, but it is just a code and example. So Python's course. Now let's print this message. Print my special message, and as you can see here, we have no error even we have a single quotes here. So the apostrophe appears inside a set of double quotes, so that let's actually make this like that. So here we are, we're gonna see this here. As you can see here, this is the error, this is the invalid syntax. In order to do that here, you have this backslash here, and it will fix the code. And if the same applies for the single quotes as well, let's actually add our single quotes. As you can see here, we have a code without a problem. And if we add this here, Pythons, and we are seeing error again. So in the output, you can see that error occurs right after the final single quote here. So this syntax error indicates that the interpreter doesn't recognize something in the code as a valid Python code, and it thinks the problem might be a string that's not quoted correctly. Error can came from a variety of sources, and I will point out some common ones as they arise. So you might want to see syntax errors often as you learn to write proper Python code. So syntax errors are also the least specific kind of error, so they can be difficult and frustrating to identify and correct. So if you get stuck on a particular stubborn error, you can ask me and I will answer you immediately. Because most programs define and gather some sort of data and then do something useful with it, it helps to classify different types of data. The first data type we'll look at is strings. Strings are quite simple at first glance, but you can use them in many different ways. The string is a series of characters. Anything inside quotes here is considered a string in Python. You can use a single or double quotes around your strings like this. So this is the flexibility allows you to quotes and apostrophes within your strings. So let's explore some of the ways you can use with strings. We can also change the case in a string with methods. So one of the simplest tasks you can do with a string is change the case of the word in a string. Let's look at this following code. Let's here name this is the world's best Python course here, and here we will print is our name, right? Name dot title. title, and let's make it this here. That's it. Now let's run this here with Shift and F10 shortcut, or you can press on this button as well. And as you can see here, this is the world's best Python course, right? In this example, the variable name refers to the lowercase string. This is the world's best Python course. And the method title here appears after the variable in the print call. A method is an action that Python can perform on a piece of data. The dot here, this dot here, as you can, oh, sorry, that's actually, yes, this dot here, after name, in the name.title, tells Python to make the title method act on a variable name. So we will act this title method on a variable name. So now every method is followed by a set of parentheses because methods often need additional information to do their work. This is the first parenthesis. For now it's empty, but the print method has something to show us, right? And that's why we have this parenthesis here. And here the title function for now doesn't need any additional information, so these parentheses are empty. And the title method changed each word to title case, where each word begins with the capital letter. In this case, the T here, and this is the world's best Python course. So it changed all the words that starts with a capital letter. And that's what title does here. So this is useful because you will often want to think of a name as a piece of information. For example, you might want to program that recognize the input values of this here. For example, this or this or this and or this, right? So you might want to program the recognize these outputs as the same name and display all of them as this, right? So several other useful methods are available for dealing with case as well. For example, you can change a string to all uppercase or all lowercase letters like this here. Let's change this. Oops, actually let's delete this useless information here. And now we will use the name.upper, which is gonna, as you can see here, this give us output with all uppercase characters. And we can also use the lower, and as you can see here, this is the all lowercase, and actually it didn't do anything in particularly, but because our name variable, our name value was the all lowercase. So if you do like this, oops, sorry, let's make it the uppercase as uppercase here. And as you can see here, now we are seeing something that has changed. And the lower method is particularly useful for storing data. So you typically don't want to trust the capitalization that your users provide, so you will convert strings to lowercase before storing them. So then when you want to display the information, you will use the case that makes most sense for each string. You can also use variables in strings, which you will learn in next lecture.